Hey folks, Tim here from Rockout Videography again. Today's episode is a review of the Behringer Ultratone K450FX keyboard amp. Is it any good? Is it loud enough? If so, just what is it good for? Stick around. We've been playing around with ours for about 2 months now, so we're going to go through this little amp in detail so you can decide if it's the right choice for you. We were looking for a multi-use amp for the studio that we could primarily use for our Yamaha keyboard, but also for other instruments as well, such as bass and guitar with amp sim pedals. We found this Behringer for sale on Guitar Center's used website and decided to make the purchase. They go for about $310 right now new. We paid about $173 for ours after tax and shipping. It arrived in great shape, and other than a couple of black magic marker notes on it, and it basically looks brand new. I assume the yellow sticker came with the amp and was probably placed there by the previous owner. Let's go over the features real quick so you can get an idea of what this amp has as far as connections and controls. The amp is rated at 45 watts, but I could not find the SPL rating. It has a 10-inch speaker, but does not have a tweeter. On the bottom, there's a pole socket that will allow you to mount the amp on a standard 35mm speaker stand. There is no set screw to tighten the amp to the pole of the stand, however. Moving to the back of the amp, there are 3 inputs. Channel 1 has an XLR mic input and a 1/4-inch 6.3mm TS line input that can be used at the same time. Channel 2 and 3 have 1/4-inch TS line inputs only. You can also see that there's a stereo RCA input for connecting audio sources. I'm surprised that there isn't a 3.5mm aux in that would allow you to connect a phone or laptop, but you can order a 3.5mm RCA adapter cable if you need to. The line out is also 1/4-inch TS connection. In fact, all of the line in and outs are unbalanced TS only, which means you're going to be dealing with just mono signals, even when using the RCA inputs. There's also a 1/4-inch subwoofer output and another 1/4-inch input for an optional foot switch that can be used to turn the FX on or off. Although the general export model is supposed to be 120, 240 volts, 60, 50 hertz, the power connection on ours turned out to just be 120, 60 hertz only. So this amp will not work in Europe or any other country with a 50 hertz electrical system without buying a power converter that will probably cost more than the amp. On the top of the amp, we find the controls. There are FX and volume output knobs for each of the 3 channels. The FX knob controls how much of the selected FX is being sent out from each channel to the main mix. The 5-band EQ can be used to dial in the sound that you are looking for, depending on the room acoustics, where you are, and the type of instrument you're trying to use. Engaging the FBQ feedback detection button will cause the fader LEDs to light up for the frequency that needs to be reduced if feedback is being detected. The FX section is where you choose which of the 99 FX presets you want to use. There's a signal light to tell you that the processor is receiving a signal and a clip light to tell you if you need to turn down the FX output of one of the channels. The FX RET knob controls how much of the FX is being added to the main mix. This is kind of backwards from what many of us are probably used to, where the master FX control sends to each of the channels and the channel FX control determines how much of the FX each channel is sending out, but the end results are essentially the same. The master volume knob does exactly what you expect. There's also a 1/4-inch headphone output that can be used for silent practice. Most keyboards are going to have their own headphone outputs, but this could still be useful when using different or multiple instruments. I think everyone knows what a power switch does. Essentially, this amp is a 3-channel single speaker PA system with a built-in sound effects processor. So just how good does this amp actually sound, and how loud is it? We did some tests with different instruments and settings for you, but before we show you these tests, do us a favor if you don't mind and hit the like and subscribe buttons. It helps all the creators here on YouTube when you subscribe and interact with us on our channels. We also have a bunch of original nerdy t-shirt designs in our merch store, themed around music, sci-fi, and fantasy for you to check out. Unless you're not a nerd like us, we get that. But if you are a nerd, there's probably something for you. Of course, this stuff's also all available in the usual types of stuff like sweaters, hoodies, mugs, and bags. All right, that's enough shill for the day. Let's look into the sounds this amp can make. First of all, is this amp loud enough to play with keyboards with a drum set? How does it sound as a keyboard amp? And how about vocals? Here's our volume test, checking it against a live drum set. Now remember, if you can, please listen on good speakers or headphones, because the speaker on your phone just doesn't represent sound accurately, especially low frequencies like bass. The settings on the amp are right there that you can see, and the volume is set about, there you go, on the keyboard. You can see that picture right there. All right, so here's our volume test with the amp next to a live drum set. Ready?
Right.
Yep, it's loud enough. All right, so here's a test with vocals and keyboards. Those of you that watch the channel know that I can't sing. I'm horrible, but that's not the point. You just want to be able to hear the quality of what things sound like. So there's our EQ settings right there. You notice there's no onboard effects right now. It's whatever you're hearing. I think there's some reverb or something that he's got going through the keyboard. Yeah, so we're going to do a quick test, and here we go. You're going to be able to hear what it sounds like with both at the same time. Go ahead. Vocal test, vocal test. All right, let's take a look real quick at, we're not going to demo all 99 of the effects presets that are on this, but we'll go ahead and try a couple with a different keyboard sound here just so you can kind of get an idea of what it does. Here's some examples of what the onboard effects sound like with this amp. Both of the effects knobs on the channel and the master are at like 1:30, 2 o'clock or so. The first 49 settings are all Hall reverb settings. So go ahead, try number 1. All right, we're going to go to number 25. We're just going to jump ahead. Again, we're not going to do all 99 of these, or you guys will lose interest real quick. All right, here's number 25, Hall reverb. All right, let's go for one of the delay settings. So this would be number 50. Number 50, here we go. Let's try another one of the delay settings. We'll go for 55. Let's try 55. All right, let's try one of the chorus settings. So number 60 is where we start to see our chorus settings. Try another one of those. I think that is still, yeah. Okay, setting number 65. This is a chorus sound. Okay, the next bank of sounds is a phaser slash pitch setting. So let me find one of those. Number 70 is the first of those. Try that. that's kind of cool. Let's try 75 on that. Okay, 75. There we go. And we'll try the last one, 78, and see what that sounds like. All right, the next bank of sounds are modulation reverb. So starting here at number, what is that, 80? You have to pardon me and my need for bionic eyes here. Yeah, let's try, the first one is number 80. This should be a modulation reverb sound. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah. We'll try another one of those. 85 is another one of the modulation reverb sounds. Let's go for the last bank, which is number 90 through 99, is modulation delay. So there's number 90, the first of those. And we'll try the very last one, number 99. Oh, here we go. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, so there you go. Some of those aren't really very bad at all, actually. If we had time to play with it more, which you don't want to sit and watch a video of us doing that, or maybe they do, and we should make that video also. But for the purposes of this in-depth review, that's a pretty good overview of the onboard effect sounds. So that's what it sounds like with a keyboard and with vocals, but is it useful for anything else? Can you use it with a guitar? Okay, if you're going to use an amp like this that has only line-in inputs for an electric guitar or a bass, the issue is going to be the impedance. So, quick explanation without getting into a bunch of complicated stuff. Essentially, a guitar signal is much, much lower than a line signal. So, about a 20 dB difference. So, if you go directly with your guitar into the amp, just direct, this is what you're going to get. Right? So that's okay, but not a lot of volume. So what we've done here is we've set up, there's two ways to address this. So this pedal board right now, what we're doing is we're using this AB switcher box to go between a boost pedal going into one of the line-in signals, and then we're also going into a direct box and converting that signal into an XLR microphone level signal, which is going into the channel 1 XLR input. The boost and instrument signals going into channel 2. So if you use the DI box, one of the things that you will hear people say is that it can affect the high end of the guitar, right? And here's the settings on the amp. This is what they're set for right now. There's no onboard effects being used. Any effects are going to be from our pedal board. And here we go. Let's try it with just the XLR in and hear what it sounds like. Right? So then this is with the boost pedal engaged, again with about a 20 dB boost to the signal to get it up closer to a line level signal. And we're also using the controls. There is a bass and a treble control on this pedal as well. So since we're doing guitar, the bass is down a little bit and the treble is up. So go ahead. Right? So here's what it sounds. Oh, by the way, this is a Joyo America sound. We're using an amp sim pedal to do this. So here's what it sounds with this Azor overdrive pedal engaged. And then we're going to add some phaser to it. So the DI works. I think I like the sound with the boost pedal a little bit better.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think the boost pedal just adds a bit more like high end to it a little bit more. So like if you this is with
Okay, so this is the now we're okay, and then sorry, that's the I had it backwards. That's the XLR right there, right?
XLR. So I think it definitely has a lot more of the high end in there.
Right, and just for kicks, let's go ahead and just level out the treble and the bass on the boost. So hit the boost. And then this is what the DI. Yeah, so using the EQ controls on this boost pedal, I think definitely helped it. Some of that low end stuff that you probably don't want. All right, so there you go. Yeah, you can use it as a guitar amp, but you're probably gonna want to mess around with some stuff. Definitely want to boost the signal or use a DI box to get to an XLR. So there you are, guitar test, electric guitar. How about an acoustic guitar? So for the acoustic guitar test, we have everything set the same, essentially, except we're using chorus setting number 65 on the amp itself. And we're not going through any of the pedals on here other than the boost and the DI. And there's a little bit of the reverb's actually, we got the reverb off. All right, so first we're going to hear it with the DI box. So DI box into XLR mic level. Right? All right. Here's what it sounds like with the boost pedal. All right. So that's basically what you're getting out of an acoustic guitar. Go ahead and play just a little bit more just for... I just want to point out, if anybody noticed a couple of little flubs there, he's playing a right-handed guitar, left-handed. Don't ask me anymore about that. All right, so there you go. That's your acoustic guitar test. How about using it as a bass amp? Will it work for that? All right, so if you're going to run a bass guitar into an amp like this, the same issues still apply with signal strength, right? So we're going to try our DI box and our boost pedal on this. Here's what the settings on the EQ are like now, the way Samuel has set them. And when we get to the boost pedal is more bass added and some treble taken off. This is a Squier Affinity PJ bass with round wound strings, because most of you bass players out there are playing round wound strings, and that's what you really want to hear in a demo, not flats like we have on a bunch of our other basses. So here we go. This is just the signal going direct without any kind of boost. Kind of weak, and it's probably going to have a hard time keeping up with the drum set. So here we go. We're going to play with just something real quick on the low E string with drums. Okay. All right, pretty weak. So let's try it with we're going to switch over now to the first channel, which is the DI box, and you'll hear a little bit of that, right? So that's a lot better. Now let's switch over to the boost pedal for a second and hear what that sounds like, right? Oh, got to turn the boost on. There we go. That's pretty good too. I think I like through the DI box. I think it's a little bit cleaner, and I'm not worried about the high end roll off as much. And in fact, I've been going through DI boxes to get to front of house for 35 years or something like that. So that doesn't really bother me a lot. So let's go back to that. All right, and we'll try a test now with some drums. So there you go. Not a perfect performance, but you don't care about that, right? We're not here to show off. We're here to show you what things sound like. So there you go. Does it work with bass guitar? Yeah, it does. Is this amp the right choice for you? It's going to depend on your expectations and your needs. As is the case with a lot of gear in this price range, it sounds good, but doesn't sound awesome. It can be a decent keyboard amp for practice, jam sessions, or live performances in small to medium-sized clubs. It's loud enough to play next to a drum set and has an output that you can connect to a mixer or recorder. Having the ability to use it on a variety of instruments may also be good if you need a multi-use amp, which is why we bought it. With 3 channels, including 1 microphone input, it could also work for small gigs as a single speaker PA system. And for a small speaking engagement, it'll probably work fine. We've been using ours as a keyboard amp here in the studio during our Friday night jam sessions, and for that, it's been working great. If 45 watts isn't loud enough for you, there are other more powerful options available from Behringer. If you want better sound quality, something from Roland may be a better choice. However, if you're on a tight budget, this little amp may be good enough for your needs. Let us know in the comments if you have any experience with these Behringer keyboard amps and what you think. What is your recommendation for a keyboard amp? As usual, we want to thank everyone who's been watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. We have been steadily growing, and it's because of amazing people like you that we are doing well. We want you to know that we really appreciate you. We hope you found the video helpful, informative, and entertaining. Until next time, thank you again and have a great day. You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.